Your Excellency, first of all, thank you for your time and for this opportunity. We're all very excited having this interview series. And my topic is about COVID-19, life and traveling after COVID-19, reflections on how our daily lives have changed, new rules and difficulties. And I wanted to start with a very typical Armenian question for me. Mrs. Ambassador, in one of your interviews, while you were referring to pandemic situation in Europe and Armenia, you mentioned that the quarantine time spent for you in Armenia will always be depicted in your memory as a dialogue with Mount Ararat. So tell us please, why exactly with Mount Ararat? What kind of dialogues were these? For example, did the dialogues contain some fears, concerns because of the situation, taking the lockdown? And most importantly, have you heard some answers from Ararat?
It was a little bit a symbol, because I live on the Northern Avenue, and you see, being a German, I respect every rule, so I really stuck to the lockdown, and I have the advantage to have a nice garden terrace and a balcony, and I can look on the Mount Ararat. Let's say every morning I looked for him. I looked whether he was there, whether I could see him. There were moments when it is just breathtaking, so beautiful. And it was, you see, when you see it in this beauty, it is like a sign of hope. Yes, he gave me this answer. Sometimes he was angry, and I couldn't see him because there were too many clouds. But it was a sort of ritual while you have nothing to do and you stay in your own kitchen every morning to look at him, and I tried to take some pictures. Sometimes they were not too well done, but it was really for me a symbol of hope, and it is such a beautiful picture, and it can be different if you have it is very seldom that you really see him in the afternoon, because due to the pollution you can see him normally in the morning. But sometimes it is just breathtaking. So this was one, and it will remain one of my memories.
Okay, thank you. That was very breathtaking. And the next question, Mrs. Ambassador, I wonder, are there some positive or useful pandemic habits that you will take with you to the post-pandemic future?
Well, I think we learned one thing. We can connect without traveling. Although it's nicer to see each other in reality, but we see that you can keep contact. By the way, for somebody like me who is living far from home, it just increased the contact to old friends, even to classmates I have not talked to for years, because whenever they met in Germany, and I didn't manage to go there. So this is an advantage. I'm very much for physical distance, but I'm very much to be socially near to each other. And I think this is also a lesson learned. You have to vary your signs of appreciation in a time when you cannot even hug your nearest, yeah? So you have to find other ways. And this is something I really learned, whether you are simply communicating via social media, WhatsApp, sending messages around, this makes a difference. And also if you have a colleague who is sick, that you inquire how the person is feeling, that you show empathy. It is not very difficult to learn, but I think we saw it more clearly in this pandemic, where everybody was fighting with the same problems. Sometimes you are alone, you are sick, the rest of the world is going on. Suddenly the whole world is having the same problem. And I think this we learned in a positive way. And the other thing I think is a lesson learned is go local. I'm a great friend of discovering the environment where I'm living in, and also to look for local products. So now with the pandemic, this has even become a necessity. But you could see it simply from a positive point. And I discovered for myself that I need much less than I thought.
Thank you. My next question is about, of course, travel. And what should I know as a tourist while entering to Europe? Like, in your opinion, is it possible that one day vaccination will become a mandatory thing while traveling? And your general opinion towards vaccination?
We are right now trying to increase the number of vaccinations in the European Union because we strongly believe this is the only way out of this pandemic. Yeah? I would not say, because this goes against the freedom of decision, that you can make it mandatory. This I don't believe, but we strongly advise it. And it could be, this is under discussion, but it is not yet decided that there could be a sort of vaccination passport. This is brought up by some people, but I would say take your time, think it over. We need to see all the legal implications. In any case, I strongly believe that vaccination is very important, and we really need to get as many people vaccinated as we can. And only if we do it all together, we will overcome this crisis. Yeah? So it is not enough to say we vaccinate in Germany or France, so we need to do it also in our partner countries in order to be safe all together. So I'm a great friend, and I will get vaccinated, definitely, because I think it is important for me, but also for my colleagues I'm working with, and also for my private family relations. I think it is really important, yes.
Thank you. And maybe the last question, I wonder, was it easy for the EU delegation to work through online platforms? What was the most difficult part here for you?
I think we, first of all, I have to say that all my colleagues in the EU delegation, whether they are experts or locals, we are all very careful. So we care for each other, but we also care for our families. I never had the impression that I have to tell people to be a little bit more consistent wearing a mask or so. As there I see there is a high standard of taking care of each other. And yes, it is a change. I think the challenge is in our delegation the same as for everybody here in Armenia. How do you cope with the situation of the private life, the kids who couldn't go to school, the work, the moment you get tired of another Zoom conference. But we learned, I think we learned together, that if we take care of each other, we manage. And I'm very proud of all the work that was done last year in rather difficult conditions, because also to give this support package of 92 million to Armenia, it meant a lot of work in the delegation. And I had not once the idea that the work is not as effective. It was. I see that some people want to come back. They prefer to be in their offices, which is possible if you only have one person in the office. And for the, let's say, the common sphere, we are all very careful. We are always wearing a mask. We are disinfecting. We are really taking care. Others prefer to stay at home due to kids or elderly parents. And we are flexible. You see, we are a team in the best sense of the word. I also listen to the advice of my colleagues, and we manage. And I think what we need in such a situation is flexibility. We need to find creative solutions, and I'm very proud that we did so. And we learned together. And I wait that we can go outside, that we can have again, let's say, a gathering to say farewell to a colleague or celebrate something. Doesn't mean that we are having a big party or so. For all of us, this I give you as a secret, my vision, and I hope I will reach this stage before I leave this country, when everything goes well and we can go out again, we want to have a karaoke party. For this delegation, a sort of relaxation is karaoke. So we all wait that the situation gets so safe that we can start to have a party again.
Hopefully we can join too.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ambassador, and for this friendly atmosphere.